good evening. You're watching the Newshour at 9 and I'm Swati Joshi. Today marks the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, a towering spiritual icon who re-established Sanatan Dharma on the global stage. The day is observed as National Youth Day. Paying tribute, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called on India's youth to draw strength, confidence and purpose for Vivekananda's ideals. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi also remembered the great ascetic, saying he took India's culture to the world. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath hailed Swami Vivekananda as the man who awakened India's self-awareness when it lay dormant.
उनका अटल विश्वास था, भारत अपने आत्म गौरव, युवा शक्ति और आध्यात्मिक चेतना के बल पर एक दिन फिर से विश्व गुरु के रूप में अपने आप को स्थापित करेगा। आज बहनों और भाइयों, हम सब उसको अपनी आंखों से मूर्त रूप लेते हुए देख रहे हैं।
And it was the sense of self-pride that Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlined from the sacred premises of Somnath Temple. Speaking at the Somnath Swabhiman Parv, marking the resilience of Indian civilization, the Prime Minister issued a clear warning. He said the very forces that opposed the rebuilding of the Somnath Temple after independence are still active today. Prime Minister Modi cautioned that while these elements no longer attack with swords, they continue to conspire through other means to weaken India and divide the nation from within.
दुर्भाग्य से आज भी हमारे देश में वो ताकतें मौजूद हैं, पूरी तरह सक्रिय हैं, जिन्होंने सोमनाथ पुनर्निर्माण का विरोध किया। हमें एक रहना है, एकजुट रहना है, ऐसी हर ताकत को हराना है जो हमें बांटने की साजिशें रच रही है।
The Prime Minister's message was unambiguous. Stay united, stay alert to defeat forces plotting against Sanatan even today. And almost as if to validate that warning, Congress veteran Mani Shankar Aiyar reached for his old arsenal and trained his guns on Hindutva. Speaking at a debate titled Hinduism Needs Protection from Hindutva, Aiyar branded Hindutva as Hinduism in a state of paranoia. He addressed the audience as sisters and brothers, invoking Swami Vivekananda and his iconic address in America. But unlike Vivekananda, who presented Hinduism as universal, inclusive and civilizational, Mani Shankar Aiyar chose to draw artificial distinctions and invent new definitions. Echoing and amplifying that line was Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitro. Well, the BJP calls this a deliberate desecration of the Hindutva ethos. The Saffron Party insists these attacks are not incidental, but part of a well-thought-out strategy. A strategy that flows from the top, designed to divide, polarize and rule.
This is the same line of Congress. Rahul Gandhi has also abused Hindutva. Time and again, Hindu Astha, Hindu ka karo apman has become Congress's only pehchan.
Right from the Nehru's Congress to Rahul Congress, the Congress party leadership has harbored a hostile anti-Hindu mindset to perpetrate and peddle their politics of divisive religious appeasement, which is why the people continue to reject the parochial Congress party.
Mani Shankar Aiyar's attack on Hindutva has left the Congress speaking in multiple voices. Some openly endorse Aiyar, claiming that even Rahul Gandhi has said it before. Then comes the scramble to distance. Madhu Yashki Gaud insists Aiyar is not even an active Congress member, and Supriya Shrinate turns the guns on BJP, accusing it of issuing certificates of Hinduism. Defense, defiance, disassociation and diversion, all on display from the opposition. The BJP meanwhile offers the explanation: an uprooted Hindu is acceptable, an awakened Hindu is not. And that, the BJP says, reveals the real discomfort with Hindutva.
हिंदू धर्म का और राष्ट्रवाद का सर्टिफिकेट बीजेपी कतई न दे। बीजेपी ढोंगी, मौका परस्त पार्टी है और उसी तरह की गंदी राजनीति करती है, भाई को भाई से लड़ाने का काम करती है।
Hinduism is a religion, is a spiritual thing that is followed by the majority of Hinduisms. Hindutva is only followed by this kaki nikar wale and kale topi wale. That's all.
Mani Shankar Aiyar's comments has nothing to do with the Congress party. He is neither an active member nor is a spokesperson of the party, or he doesn't even hold any responsible position in the party.
Earlier, 85% of the backward and scheduled caste Hindus were made to bow before the 15% of the upper caste Hindus. That was history. That is why the Dravidian movement was started, to protect the Shudras and Panchamas of Hinduism.
The Hindu Dharma is old Dharma, it is a religion. The Hindutva is a political program, RSS का political program. Hindu राष्ट्र तैयार करना, then non-Hindu के खिलाफ public opinion तैयार करना, एक fascistic idea को ले जाना.
And that brings us to the legitimate question we are asking. Is divide to rule opposition's only way to get votes? Let's take that question across to our guests.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
So tonight on the panel we have Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Ratan Sharda, also an author, Kishore Tiwari, political analyst, Sanjay Jha, also an author. And we are waiting for Professor Manojit Mondal to join us on the broadcast. Let me first go across to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, we've now heard multiple definitions and everybody's interpretation, their thoughts on what Hindutva is, what Hinduism is. I have a very simple question to ask. If the Congress party also, and going by the reactions coming in, because Mr. Surendra Rajput says this is what Rahul Gandhi has said earlier. So if that is an acceptable definition of Hindutva for the Congress party, it's very simple. How is the Congress party in alliance with the Shiv Sena UBT that also talks about Hindutva, that is based on the Hindutva political ideology, that proudly associates itself with Babri demolition, that without any hesitation hails Savarkar? How is the Congress party in an alliance with such a party?
Swati, good evening to you and to all my fellow panelists on the program. You know, it is very important to straightaway debunk this absolute absurdity, nonsense, and pure gibberish that is basically very vociferously spread by the Sangh Parivar, calling the Congress anti-Hindu. It's absolute rubbish. Let me prove it to you. Because obviously these guys don't know India's political history. Since independence, roughly 18 elections have been held. The Congress has won 10 of them. And it has been in government for 55 years since independence. Majority of the votes that the Congress party has got repeatedly has come from the Hindu voters. So if the BJP and the RSS and the Sangh Parivar is blind to its own political history, that a party which has been winning successively, barring the last 2 elections, is anti-Hindu, they are basically trying to do nothing but spread fake news, which is their entire reason for existence. I mean, these are facts that nobody can deny on your panel, number one. Number two, I'll give you my own example. I am a practicing Hindu. I have a temple in my home in Mumbai. In fact, wherever I have lived since I was a young kid, we had a temple in a home. I am a practicing Hindu. I come on your channel and I fight for minority rights for a reason. Not because of any other reason, because I believe that's what my constitution tells me to do. To respect all religions, to ensure that all religions feel one in this country. Do I need a certificate from Ratan, Sharda, Ranganathan or Mr. Kohli? Not at all. I don't need any certificate of my Hinduism or my patriotic credentials. You see, this is the problem. What the BJP has done is what I would call is misleading the majority community of India for their own electoral vote participation. I would call it as majority appeasement is the real problem of India. What is Mr. Modi doing? Mr. Modi can't govern this country has already been established. Whether it's economy, foreign policy, governance, corruption, he has been a monumental disaster. What does Mr. Modi do every day? He does the dog whistling on Mangal Sutra, Bhais Chori Kar Lega. This is the political CEO of India. So these guys are intellectually bankrupt, morally compromised, and I would say electorally hungry to win at any cost, which is why we are all paying a price. And therefore, Hindu remains Hindu, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Jews, Jains. But this, we all live together in this country in great celebration of our diversity. BJP is trying to destroy it. That's all.
People continue to live. People continue to live in harmony. People continue to celebrate each other's traditions, uphold each each other's values and religion. People don't have a problem. The problem is with the politicians. And since all the intellectuals are in the Congress party, we've heard the definition of Hindutva, and Hinduism also does not need a certificate from Mani Shankar Aiyar. My question was very simple. If Hindutva is a perverter of Hinduism, how is the Congress party so comfortable in an alliance with Shiv Sena UBT that talks about same Hindutva? You have not answered that question. As far as whether Narendra Modi has the right to govern or not, well, people have given him the mandate. People have given him the right to rule and govern.
Yeah, I will bite the bullet on your question. I have no hesitation in doing so. I think the alliance in Maharashtra with Uddhav ji's Shiv Sena has been at the India alliance level, at the national level, done to stop the BJP, which has taken Hindutva to a level of extremity that we have never witnessed before. I have a data here that in 2025, there were 50 extrajudicial killings of Muslims in India. Can you imagine that? These are cases of like mob lynching and any other kind of very violent attack on Muslims. It has happened with Mr. Modi at the center, and many of his people in the state government, they are in.
So Sanjay Jha, when such incidents take place, you see crime there, or do you see Hindutva? Do you see religion? And if that is the logic, if that is the parameter, then when a terror attack happens, what do we see there?
Well, let me answer a question for you. Let's take the case, Swati, of what happened in Nawada in Bihar recently. You know, the man was so unfortunate. They stripped him of his clothes. They checked his private parts to know which community he belonged to, and then they hacked him to death. That's a religious obsession going absolutely morbid and crude and vulgar and violent. Let me
so
also
when people are asked about their religion and then slaughtered in Jammu and Kashmir,
it's brutal. That also is a form of the same. That's exactly the terrorism that you're seeing from the cross border, driven by religious hate. Both have to be condemned. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point.
That's terrorism. There you don't see the ideology of the individual or the religion the individual follows. Let me bring in.
There is a religious bias there as well.
Now to answer the questions, there is a religious bias. Okay, there is a religious bias there as well. Nalin Kohli respond. Nalin Kohli respond when such incidents take place. Such incidents take place. Hindutva is the ideology that comes to fore.
It's on record. Nobody can deny it.
Swati, I heard Mr. Jha very
patiently.
Mr. Jha spoke for a fairly long time. A lot of adjectives he used. I mean, and normally I believe that when adjectives are used, it's a cover-up for the lack of content. So let's pick Mr. Jha's arguments and let's put it for your viewers to decide whether they make sense. Yes, he presented a set of facts. We all know the Congress has been 55 years in government. What is more relevant is that for 3 consecutive terms, they've been rejected by the people of India. And then he calls those people literally that, you know, they're being misguided. So he considers the voting percentage that votes for the BJP to be misguided people. That is contempt for the citizen of India. With due respect, the same citizen who at some point voted for the Congress. So the question to be asked is, what was going right for 55 years that no longer the people of India want to accept? Then we got a scheme on the Constitution. I can speak on the Constitution honestly with far greater authority than Mr. Jha because I'm a practicing advocate. Yes, Article 14 is equality of Indians. So let's just take the fundamental rights for a moment. India, that is Bharat, Article 1. So you have a country. Then you come to the fundamental rights, which is part 3, in which you have first equality of all individuals. Everyone is equal. Then you have freedom of expression and speech, 1921, right? And then you have some special protections for the minorities in education. But that does not mean that the minorities in India have been given a right to be over and above anybody else, which is Article 14. We are Indian citizens first, then Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, Parsi, Jew, any denomination. It's as simple as that. So the skewed logic that worked in this country was from 1947 onwards or 1950 onwards, is that essentially that if you said I'm a Muslim, it's your identity. If you said I'm a Christian, it's an identity. If you say I'm Buddhist or Parsi or Jew, it's an identity. But if you say I'm Hindu, then you're communal. That is what we always called pseudo-secularism, something that the BJP brought to the focus in the 1980s and the 1990s. So that's exactly what we attacked the Congress party for, and a set of other people. And therefore, it was very, very difficult for Mr. Jha to actually give you a straight answer after that whole long tirade against the RSS and the BJP about why is his party say with the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray. Because essentially, if you just take the utterances of the Shiv Sena, then you would see that they are far more strident in terms of Hindutva, and they are proud of it. They are proud of it, and I'm not passing a comment on
That's why I said, that's why I said a proud association. They proudly associate themselves with Babri demolition. Without any hesitation, they hail Veer Savarkar. I want to bring in Kishore Tiwari. Kishore Tiwari, do you agree with this? The definitions that have come to fore today by Mahua Moitra, by Mani Shankar Aiyar, the violence which is associated to Hindutva. क्या राय है आपकी? आप इस पर यकीन करते हैं? मानते हैं इसको?
नहीं, स्वाति, हम हिंदुत्व को तो मानते ही, लेकिन हम कट्टर हिंदुत्व के पुरस्कर्ता है, और हमें बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस है और बहुत स्वाभिमान है कि हमने वो आक्रांताओं ने जो हमारे राम मंदिर को तोड़ा था और बाबरी मस्जिद बनाई थी, उस बाबरी मस्जिद को हमने डिमोलिश किया। लेकिन एक बात है, नलिन कोहली उसको बता नहीं पाए कि ये सनातन धर्म की भूमि है, और यहाँ पर एक तो वेदों को प्रमाण मानने वाले धर्म थे, या वेदों को प्रमाण नहीं मानने वाले जैनिज्म थे, सिखिज्म थे, या फिर बौद्धिज्म थे। तो ये धर्म की भूमि है, ये हिंदू धर्म की भूमि है, और उसका कोई भी विकृति या परवरिशन हमें मंजूर नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं
देखिए, नलिन कोहली जी चलिए भूल गए, नलिन कोहली जी भूल गए सनातन धर्म की बात करने के बारे में, लेकिन जिस INDI ब्लॉक का आप हिस्सा हैं उसमें सनातन धर्म को लेकर के क्या क्या कहा आप लोग भूल गए क्या? आप लोगों ने इसका विरोध किया? नहीं, क्या आप लोगों ने विरोध किया था उस वक्त जब डेंगू मलेरिया जैसे चीजें कही गई सनातन धर्म के बारे में? क्या आप लोगों ने कहा आप तो INDI ब्लॉक छोड़ देंगे या आप DMK वालों को निकाल दीजिए?
अरे भैया, अभी हम
क्या कोई स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टैंड लिया था?
अरे देखिए, ये सब अनफॉर्चुनेट चीजें हुई करके तो हमको भोगना पड़ा, करके तो अभी हम महाराष्ट्र में
नहीं, अनफॉर्चुनेट चीजें हुई, लेकिन अगर आप अपनी आइडियोलॉजी के इतने पक्के हैं और अगर आप नलिन कोहली को बता रहे हैं कि वो भूल गए कि सनातन धर्म की ये भूमि है, सनातन धर्म की बात होनी चाहिए, तो आप लोगों ने कैसे कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया? आप लोगों से मेरा मतलब है UBT ने कैसे कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया? INDI ब्लॉक का हिस्सा UBT कैसे रही जब सनातन धर्म को इतनी डिजीजेस, इतनी बीमारियों के साथ कंपेयर किया गया?
स्वाति, मैं एक बात बता देता हूं, हमने मिनिमम कॉमन प्रोग्राम या कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम के तहत ही इन पार्टियों से दोस्ती बनाई थी, और वो पॉलिटिकल दोस्ती थी जिसमें हमारे हिंदुत्व का हमने कभी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं किया।
सच बोलते हैं किशोर तिवारी जी, ये बात बहुत अच्छी है आपकी कि आप सच बोलते हैं, आप सच बोलते हैं। कांग्रेस ने आपके साथ कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया, आपने कांग्रेस के साथ कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लिया, वहां दोनों भूल गए कि हिंदुत्व का सही डेफिनेशन क्या है, दोनों भूल गए कि अरे सनातन धर्म के बारे में लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, क्योंकि आपकी मजबूरी थी या पॉलिटिकल कन्वीनियंस था। आई वांट टू ब्रिंग इन डॉक्टर रंगनाथन। सो डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, व्हेन यू सी सच अलायंसेस हैपनिंग or when you hear the Chief Minister of Telangana, Mr. Revant Reddy, say that Congress is equal to Muslims and Muslims is equal to Congress, what is that tattva? वो किस तत्व की बात कर रहे हैं?
Good evening, Swati, and good evening to my fellow panelists. You know, it used to amuse me, but now it amazes me how much venom and how much disdain can people have in this country against Hindus and Hinduism and Hindutva and get away with it. Here is an open challenge for all those who hate Hindutva. List just 5 principles, diktats, commandments that you hate in Hindutva that are not already there in Islam. Just 5. And if you can't, then will you declare that you will henceforth hate Islam as much as you hate Hindutva? Hai dam? 5 छोड़ो, 3 ही बता दो. Look, quote, Hindutva means the Indian culture and not merely the Hindu religion, unquote. Some may not know on this panel because they're ignorant. This was the famous conclusion of the Supreme Court back in 1995, packed with judges with left, liberal and centralist predilection. with the judgment written by none other than the liberal hero Justice J.S. Verma. But here is the thing, even if you do not believe in the Supreme Court, that Hindutva is the twa or essence of Hinduism and means the Indian culture, and prescribe to it a political or social motive, even then, Swati, Hindutva is not supremacist, but rather a defensive force to counter an attack on Hinduism. Islamists, Darbaris, as well as Chauthi fail leftist ignoramuses never tire of drawing a false equivalence of Hindutva with Taliban, claiming there's nothing wrong with Islam or Hinduism, but everything wrong with Taliban and Hindutva. This is merely to cushion Islamic fundamentalism, because they know very well that the Taliban are only following Islamic fundamentals. Stopping the Taliban from following what is written in their holy book is like preventing me from following what is written in Darwin's Origin of Species. We are just the medium. How are we guilty or radical or extremist? The Taliban are only following the Sharia and the word of Allah on how a woman should dress, 24, 31, 33, 59, 726, on how a wife should behave, 434, on when a woman can be flogged, 24, 212, on what should be done with non-believers, 456. Tell me, is it Hindutva that calls non-believers the worst of creatures? Is it Hindutva that forbids marrying them? Is it Hindutva that recommends conditional wife beating? Were they believers of Hindutva who blew up the Bamiyan Buddhas? Is Hindutva responsible for 31,221 major terror attacks since 2001? Just because you are embarrassed by the violence, misogyny and bigotry commanded by your holy book, you bring in a false equivalence to deride Hindutva? And as for Mani Shankar Aiyar, just 10 seconds.
Okay.
I'm afraid there is as much intellect in that guy as there is MDH garam masala in authentic sambar.
Professor Jayawardene Mandal, you want to take up that challenge?
Yes.
Does the opposition ever think about pointing out the flaws in other isms or religions, or is it convenient? Because divide the Hindus so that your politics can flourish.
I think Dr. Ranganathan is a friend, definitely, but I'm not going to engage with him on this particular count, because the term Hindutva that you referred to today, quite distortedly, was coined by a person from this part of the country way back in 1892 in the form of a book called the Hindutva, The True History of the Hindus by Chandranath Bosu. And Mr. Savarkar distorted that version of Hindutva of Chandranath Bosu to make it a political Hindutva. When Chandranath Bosu coined the term, it was definitely Hinduism under grave attack of conversion because of the Christian missionaries and all. And he had to rewrite that history, especially to integrate the Hindus, or Hindus who were living at the bottom of the social ladder. Right? And he calls it the religion of true harmony and coexistence. And look at what the BJP and especially the RSS have done to that very idea of Hindutva. In fact, I'm not talking about Hinduism. Even that idea of Hindutva, which was coined by Mr. Chandranath Bosu, was politically used by RSS first, through Veer Savarkar, and then by the BJP. We have got objection to that part of the story. Even if you talk about Hindutva, they do not follow the code line of Hindutva, which was coined by Mr. Chandranath Bosu in 1892. That is harmony and coexistence, just to integrate all the people. Look at what is happening here. I think Dr. Ranganathan is right in one point. The Hinduism is the religion of coexistence and harmony. But that's precisely BJP is not practicing. BJP is making it a political tool to have a kind of supremacy or hegemony of this religion over others. I think we have got every right to object to that. That's what is being done in this country. Hinduism cannot be a tool, or Hindutva, in fact, cannot be a tool to say that you have to say Jai Sri Ram, or else you will be sent back to Bangladesh. In fact, let me tell you one more thing. Hinduism will never tell.
So again, I'll have to repeat that question. So are those lumpen elements? Are those individuals? Would you describe those individuals as lumpen elements, fringe elements, criminals perhaps, who should be thrown behind bars? Legal action should be taken against them. Why would you want to talk about Hindutva or bring in their religious identity? And if you're using that yardstick, then you have to talk about the religious identity of those who asked if you're a Hindu and then shot at those people in Pahalgam. Would you dare to talk about their religious identities as well?
I mean, you have to talk also about the people who are asking others to call Joy Sri Ram or else they are being beaten up. Who are these people?
That's what I'm asking you that. How would you describe them?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you that. How would you describe them?
Both are extremists. Both are enemies of the that respective religion. Both. You have to have the one standard that both should be condemned and should be put behind bars.
See, that's interesting. See, that's interesting. When you ask about when you ask about the terror attacks, that's when these neutral statements start coming in. Nalin Kohli will respond to the allegations that you level, but that's when the neutral statements start coming in. But till then, till somebody reminds you about the terror attacks and about the ideology that those individuals follow, till then Hindutva is on target. Nalin Kohli, please respond. I know Dr. Ranganathan, you want to come in. I'll come to you. Nalin Kohli, please respond.
Couple of things. You see, basically, for many of these political parties led by the Congress party, the Hindu vote bank, because they treat it as a vote bank, is ye to hamare liye vote kar hi lenge, so we need to reach out to the other communities. Which is why you have an affidavit that says that Lord Ram is an imaginary figure. I mean, imagine Lord Ram, who is revered by crores and crores across the world. You don't have the heart to say that he's a revered god in India and believed to be born in Ayodhya. And never once there has been a stand of the Congress party on the Ayodhya temple. Neither saying that it should be through a negotiated settlement or it should be through a court order. The BJP stand was it could be either. It eventually came through a court order. But the Congress never even took a stand on that because they believe, and I think quite incorrectly, but it's for them to decide, who are we to advise them, that the minute we will look towards the Hindu vote, the Muslims will leave us. I mean, you're not in Pakistan. These are Muslims who chose not to be in Pakistan. They are Indian citizens who wanted to be in a secular country. It's a secular country because the Hindu community decided that we are majority, but we want to run by a constitution. Otherwise, there was every right in 1950, when the constitution to come, when it came into being, that you could have had a Hindu republic. So this is a country where people chose they'll run by a constitution.
Can I come in?
And the constitution of India, if you pick up the first 100 copies, you will see the paintings by hand, each one of them. It has Lord Ram, it has Lord Buddha, it has Lord Krishna. I mean, is that to deny the reality that the Hindu ethos of India was not looked as a communal ethos? This was added only with the amendments in the emergency.
Is saying the problem is with BJP's Hindutva ideology. The problem is with the Hindutva ideology of RSS. I want Ratan Sharda to come in. Ratan Sharda, Professor Monojit Mandal says that he does not have a problem, or the opposition does not have a problem with the original idea or the original thought process of Hindutva that was turned into a political tool by the RSS and the BJP, and that's where the problem is as per him.
Well, Swati, RSS and BJP were not born when Hindutva was defined. Monojit stops at Hindutva defined in 1892. Let me tell you, so many other characteristics of Hindutva which are being adopted by BJP, RSS. Bharat Mata was painted by Abanindranath Tagore way back in 1905. Vande Mataram was penned in 1875. Hinduism was defined by Swami Vivekananda in 1893. Apart from defining the way that Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, what it is in Chicago, we celebrate that particular lecture. He says, Gita says, whoever comes to me through whatever form I reach him, all men are struggling through paths which ultimately lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry and its horrible descendant fanaticism have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, often with human blood, destroyed civilizations and whole nation to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would have been far more advanced than it is now. He said it when Hindus were under attack, when Hindus were besieged, when Hindu genocide was going on. So that is Swami Vivekananda. What Swami Vivekananda will be very interesting to note, that liberal, secular, communist people made very hard efforts, researched on Swami Vivekananda to say that a feminine, gentle Hinduism was turned into masculine, very strong Hinduism. So Swami Vivekananda actually was not propagating what Hinduism truly was. So they want a feminine Hinduism which can be attacked, which can be tamed, which can be persecuted, but not a strong Hinduism which can defend itself. Now, as far as Hinduism concerned, the word Hinduism itself is objectionable because it's not a closed. It is not a closed philosophy like communism. It is not a closed, closed system like Islam or Christianity. But they are called religions. But Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism are called ism despite their open architecture, acceptance very point of view, not killed for having different viewpoints. That is Hindutva, essence of Hindu-ness. That is what it is. Now coming further, what did RSS do? Basically, RSS created a system to take up what was said by great people about organizing Hindu society, making it a strong Hindu society. Is it a sin to make a society which is divided on caste, religion, language into a strong organization or organized society? No, because every other religion has that complete system. When it becomes a political system, Hindutva was only a way of organizing the society, overcoming all the divisions in the society, so it becomes a sin. So you can, no, you're not talking about...
There are two people who want to counter you.
Bengal or Bangladesh, but even speak on Palestine.
Okay, two people want to counter you. Professor Manojit Mondal, then Sanjay Jha, and then Dr. Ranganathan in that order. Professor Manojit Mondal.
Very incidentally, today is the birthday of Narendra. Can I come in, please? Today is the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda, or the original Narendra of this country. The name that was derived from Narendra of Narendra Modi. It's the birth anniversary of this great Hindu, this great man. The speech that my friend quoted, in the same speech, Vivekananda said that I'm proud to belong to a country that has sheltered persecuted people from all the other countries. In the same speech in 1893 that he just quoted. And look at what BJP is doing. BJP is not sheltering its persecuted people of one particular religion in this country. And yet they say that they follow Hindutva and the line of Swami Vivekananda, whose birth anniversary is today. How many programs did you have on TV about the birth anniversary of this real great Hindu?
And if the opposition believes so much in Vivekananda's ideology of sheltering the persecuted, then why did the opposition oppose CAA?
Persecuted of all religion, not just of particular sixth religion, of all religion. Don't you think that there are people who are persecuted in Muslim religion also in this country? The people who are flying Bangladesh now are irrespective of their religion.
Has the government said that Muslims cannot apply? I mean, I don't know about it, but Dr. Ranganathan, has the government said that Muslims cannot apply to take shelter in this country, that they cannot apply? One second, that they are barred from entering into the border? Or did CAA ensure that those minorities who are persecuted will be sheltered, would be given rights? Then why did the opposition oppose if they are so impressed with this idea of Swami Vivekananda? Now let Dr. Ranganathan come in. Allow Dr. Ranganathan to come in.
I didn't expect my very dear friend and brother Monadeep Da, elucidate on this wrongly. Because the fact of the matter is there are hundreds of thousands of Muslim refugees in India away from the CAA. You only have to go to some regions of Delhi, you will find out thousands of Afghanis who fled. They are all Muslims. But to say that India should be a shelter house for all the persecuted Muslims around the world. In Pakistan, which is an Islamic republic, there are 40 million persecuted Shias. They are being bombed. Their houses are being looted. Do you think India should open its borders for 50 million Shias of Pakistan origin? What is he talking about? Number two, it is a fact, and thank you for calling it out. Now you have a target on your head. Not many anchors were brave enough to do that. You called out rampant selectivity twice on your show, and that is why you are absolutely pound sterling. And I'll tell you why. Because this has been going on for the last 11 years. They only quote selective hate mob, Hindu mobs attacks on Muslims. In fact, proportionate to the population, there are twice as many hate crime Muslim mob attacks on Hindus. I can rattle out the names of Bharat Yadav, Bhati, Kitaram Bhil, hundreds of others. But they only remember selectively, Akhlaq and Junaid and so many other people. They never remember all the Hindus who have been mercilessly murdered in the name of religion. Forced to chant Allahu Akbar. So everything that the Hindu mobs have done, the other religious mobs have done as well. But it is selective. Number three, and this is very important. As Goebbels said, the art of propaganda is to immediately accuse the other person of what you're guilty of. This whole Hindutva charade has been brought out as if there are Muslims who are persecuted, who are discriminated against. It is the Hindus that are being discriminated against in this country. Name me one constitutional, legal, educational, social discrimination against a non-Hindu. I will change my name. I can name you seven constitutional, legal discrimination against Hindus.
Swati, we have had too much rhetoric and abstractions on your program. Let's quote some hard facts, really. A couple of weeks ago, in a program sponsored by the government of Mr. Modi, in fact, ironically called the Ministry of Culture, and they had even the Delhi government, which is under the BJP, a program attended by BJP leaders, including some ministers. There was an open call for genocide and deportation of Muslims abroad from India. Open. This is government sponsored. I'm not even getting into the bulldozer, the love jihad, this is a government that is so scared of minorities that they are now attacking Santa Claus. For God's sake, Santa Claus. We saw what the VHP, which is part of the RSS, and the Bajrang Dal goons did during Christmas. I mean, these are people who are basically taking a religion. I'm a Hindu. I'm a very proud Hindu. It's a religion, Swati, that teaches you eclectic kind of tolerance. It teaches you inclusiveness. It teaches you compassion. These guys have made our great religion into a political tool.
So then the guys are the problem, or Hindutva and Hinduism is the problem? Are those guys who you call goons are the real problem, or Hinduism and Hindutva is the problem? If those guys and goons are the problem, then we should have heard definitions, Sanjay Jha, about those guys and goons. We didn't hear definitions about the guys and goons. We heard definitions about Hindutva and Hinduism. And then one would also have to talk about another guy, Dr. Nabi, who justified suicide bombing and said that, it is known in Islam.
Yeah.
And then now go ahead, please, respond.
So Swati, let me answer your question. Fundamentalism and extremism is not the monopoly of one religion. It's on both sides. Absolutely agree with you. There's no dispute on that. Here is the problem. The problem in India is that the Bharatiya Janata Party has appointed itself. Nobody has given it any approval. It has only 37% of the popular vote, but it has appointed itself for purely political purposes as the custodian of Hinduism. I have not appointed Narendra Modi to speak.
Then what about Telangana Chief Minister? What about the Telangana Chief Minister who said Congress is equal to Muslims and Muslims is equal to Congress? Who gave Revant Reddy the right? Who gave him the right to say कि हम नहीं होंगे, Congress नहीं होगा, तो मुसलमानों का वजूद नहीं है? Who gave him the right? Who made him the custodian of the Muslim community in this country?
Swati, understand the context in which these political comments are made. Appropriate or inappropriate, we can discuss it till the cows come home. What you are witnessing in India since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister is a deliberate and a very organized assault on the minorities who are feeling both marginalized and asphyxiated. Many people are scared. And if a political party does not make them feel secure to say, listen, we have a constitution, and we'll fight for you.
But they still chose to vote for Narendra Modi in 2014, and I'm sure Muslims voted for him as well. You know what's interesting is the moment you talk about a statement made by a Congress leader, everything is intellectualized. Everything is intellectualized. That's the problem, and that is accepted. When you see Hindutva and Hinduism as the problem, and instead of highlighting the crime, highlight religion, that's when the hypocrisy is exposed. Now let me also see how our viewers are responding. Here's comments coming in from M. Parker. M. Parker says Congress party has to fix its own problems before accusing others. Then you have a reaction coming in from Jagdish Bhatta. Jagdish Bhatta says, and he's talking about the opposition, they are destroying themselves. Let me also tell you about the poll results. So the question that we asked, opposition trying to divide Hindus, is that the reason why such statements are being made? And 90% people say yes, this is an attempt to divide Hindus. 8% say no, and 2% are not able to make up their mind. We're moving on now. We're shifting our entire focus to debate number 2.